There's a fascinating story that is bubbling, a bit of controversy, with work wife Michael Brooks, Sam Cedar's work wife. Essentially, Brooks, you could say let the cat out of the bag, but I'm not quite sure if it's a let the cat out of the bag thing. I want to talk about it. Essentially, Brooks details what amounts to a premeditated attack on Tulsi Gabbard in order to get Sanders elected. It's real interesting. A woman who works with, I think she works with Nico, adorable young woman, had very great qualms with this very particular issue. So let's talk about it. Welcome to the Soapbox. My name is Jamarl Thomas. I am your host. This is the Progressive Soapbox. Guys, if you dig this content, like this content, enjoy this content, and you find yourself coming back here often, please like, share, and subscribe. And if you're really digging it, please consider supporting through PayPal or Patreon. This content is brought to you by you. It's not that I love saying it. It's just kind of par for the course. Michael Brooks, work wife Michael Brooks. So Sam Cedar's work wife, in a video, apparently he has his own channel called The Michael Brooks Show. Sam Cedar let him out of the laboratory. He made some statements about Gabbard. Now, they have been aggressive from day one, the day one that Tulsi Gabbard got into this race. They have been after her and what I would consider to be over-the-top attacks. I want Michael Brooks to explain this because there were feelings and qualms about this very specific issue. So let's hear the various clips and I'll give you my perspective of it. Your perspective might be exactly what you think. We'll see. Let's hear him out. Come on.
I'm actually pretty, look, my opinion on Tulsi Gabbard has always been fairly operational. I think it was important out of the gate to be very clear about her record and her brands because it's really important Bernie Sanders wins.
Now, essentially, and I don't want to characterize this unfairly, operational is just a weird way of saying it. Operational comes across to me as, look, I had no feelings about this. My job in this was to put a knife in her. If I needed to put a knife in her hide in order to climb over her dead husk to push Sanders over the finish line, then that is what I was willing to do. That's what it sounds like he said. Operational. There was no feelings about it. Let's go to the next one. So this one is
to me about any candidate.
All right,
Bernie Sanders. We're not here to be fair to candidates that aren't Bernie Sanders.
That's number one, and that applies to anybody who whines to me about any candidate.
We're not here to be fair to candidates that aren't Bernie Sanders.
Now, they definitely took qualms on this one. They took serious qualms on this one. All right, let's go to one more. I don't care about that one. But this one she took qualms with. And this one is more funny than anything else. This is like, look, I'm not racist. I have black friends.
Hindu phobia. First of all, and when you say it's Hindu phobia, first of all, I am very Hindu curious in my spirituality, to be honest.
That's more funny than anything else. I don't give a shit about Michael Brooks' spirituality. And it does. I'm sorry. It sounds, what do you mean I'm racist? I'm not racist at all. I have a black friend. Ain't that right, Jerome? Yeah, see, Jerome's my boy. Jerome's not that boy in a boy sense, not in a racist sense, just boy in a friend sense, because he's my friend. He's my friend. He's my friend. Shit. Should have said that. I know this is going to sound weird. I have no qualms with anything Michael Brooks just said here outside of the weird Hindu phobic stuff. My show is named Jamarl Thomas. I am not a journalist. I am a political commentator, at best, a social critic to some degree. I look out at the world and I give you my perspective of events. The show is literally named Jamarl Thomas. In pursuit of the show, I have my own, what I consider to be fair. I have to be ethical. I have to be honest. I have to be straightforward to the audience. Be the integrity. It's a sign that I've had from day one. And I truly believe that. Now, the question becomes, what do you mean by integrity? what I just said. I got to be fair and honest when I report stories. My goal in this particular channel is to give people a contextual view of the world, because I feel that oftentimes they don't get that through mainstream media. How does that work, though, in the context of a political race where you have a favorite, in this case, Sanders? I think if you look back over the show, it's more so based along the lines of my ideological framing, to which you guys breathlessly hear about when I recover stories. If that changes when I'm reviewing something that Sanders is doing, then you can hit me on that and say, whoa, that's a bit of hypocrisy there, buddy. This doesn't seem to jive with your ideological framing in the entirety of the time that you have the show. And to be honest, my integrity, or at the very least my credibility, I care a lot more than that than I do in the sense of supporting Sanders. I think you can notice that when I go after Sanders, when he does something that go out of line with my own ideological framing. I think you can also see that when I say yay, yay, Trump, when he kills the TPP, or when he says we're going to pull our troops out of Afghanistan, or when he decides to not go into a war. It's based on my ideological framing. Candidates that are within that ideological framing, of course, I'm going to be more in line with, as opposed to those that are not. In a sense of fairness, I have to be honest and so forth in that sense. The horse that I'm riding on this is Sanders. And yes, I will put a knife in somebody like Joe Biden, because Joe Biden is not within my ideological framing. And I have no belief at all that, Joe Biden has been running for 40 years. It's going to be within my thing. He's essentially Hillary Clinton in pants. And he's not even as smart as Hillary Clinton. That's my basis of my show. That's the way I look out at the world. But that's my own basis. And the show is named Jamarl Thomas, just like this show is named Michael Brooks. Michael Brooks can take whatever ideological framing that Michael Brooks wants on the show that's named the Michael Brooks Show. He is not a journalist. He is a talking head. He is a propagandist. And I say that, I don't mean that in the explosive way. I just mean in the sense of he has a certain ideological bearing that he wants to espouse upon the world. The show is named The Michael Brooks Show. He's not putting on any airs about it. Now, you may take issue with it if he's pretending to be biased. And he didn't tell anybody that he took a premeditated attack on Joe Biden, on Tulsi Gabbard. So fair enough. But on the show that's named The Michael Brooks Show, does he need to do that? It's his show. He can do whatever he wants. Some people may take issue with me putting a knife in Joe Biden. Some other people may take issue with Nico supporting Gabbard. It is their show. It is up to them. You judge when you watch, and you give it a like, a dislike, or you just stop watching. So there's that. That said, this is cartoonishly, politically inept. And I think that in the support of Hillary Clinton, which I don't even entirely believe is just politically inept. I do, to some degree, believe that Sam Cedar is associated with the Democratic Party through his work with MSNBC, because that network is essentially ridiculously biased. And I don't see any situation by which these guys say vote for somebody other than whatever the Democratic president, whoever that person is. So there's that. But beyond that point, there's a political ineptness to what he is saying here. Like, this is cartoonishly politically inept. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Why does it even make sense to do that? And I'm saying that in a political sense. Tulsi Gabbard had a bumfuck chance in hell in winning the presidential nomination. I'm just being honest with you. I like her. I support her. I love this non-interventionist stance. In fact of the matter is the pushing for Green New Deal and that type of stuff. Whether she gets it specifically exactly the way I like it, it's not going to be exact. But I like ideologically, she's within my framework. So yes, I support people who are ideologically within my framework. And I don't think she hurts Sanders. I think she makes him better. And as evidence of that, my argument from day one is I want more lefties on that debate stage. If he got his way, she would not have been, because they tried to discredit her and get her out of that race from day one. Somebody who's a lefty. You have 20 other neocons in that race. And you're planning this right off the bat. I'm going to support Sanders if I stick a knife in Tulsi Gabbard. It's just operational with me. Missing the point that you want more lefties on that debate stage, because what you don't want is one Sanders and 17 neocons attacking that one Sanders. Which, left to your devices is exactly what you would have got. Tulsi Gabbard put a knife in Kamala Harris and literally took her out of contention in one debate. If you would have had your option, Tulsi Gabbard would have never been on that debate stage. You are comically, politically inept. And I think that even in the support of Clinton, because if you look at our world today, the world today that we have does not exist with Clinton in office. And I understand there are certain vagaries in the sense of Trump being in office. There's always negatives in contests. But the world that we're having, the conversations that we're having, Medicare for all, expansion of college, the potential for Sanders being in office, all goes away if Clinton gets elected. But again, comically inept and politically tone deaf. You tried to take out a lefty in the race. Oh, we needed to instantiate a record. What record? You're screaming about her being anti-gay or something. It's nonsense. She was raised in a particular family. And I don't begrudge them for bringing this stuff up. I begrudge it in the sense of whether it's honest in regards to how it's being talked about. Left to their devices, Gabbard would not have been on the debate stage. What would that debate have looked like if Sanders and Warren weren't on the debate stage together, and all of those people on that debate stage, including CNN itself, meaning the host, would have been attacking Sanders for that particular bill? Warren made Sanders better in that debate. All of the debate was looked at as attacking Sanders because Sanders was the person who was pushing Medicare for all. Warren assisting him in that, assisted in essentially pushing back on the nonsense. It was a positive having more lefties on that debate stage. I want that, including Gabbard. I want Gabbard on that stage pushing Sanders to the left on issues of foreign policy. I want that. I want that. Those are positive developments. You are attacking somebody who has almost zero chance of winning the presidency and alienating the people who are supporting her. Again, you didn't learn that from Clinton era when you guys were supporting Clinton and attacking everybody who wasn't Hillary Clinton. But again, let's do it again. Let's do it again. Politically tone deaf. And they call people the dumb aspect of the left. This is extraordinary. Zero political acumen. We're going to attack Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi Gabbard has a ton of supporters. There are a lot of people who like her on the left and on the right. Many of which who don't necessarily consider themselves Democrats, but many of which would have voted for a Democrat if that Democrat was Tulsi Gabbard. Those people who were Gabbard supporters were also Sanders supporters. Many of those Gabbard supporters used to be Sanders supporters and moved to support Gabbard. This person, with all of his political skill involved in the process, decided to attack a person who had zero chance of winning the presidency. I gave Tulsi Gabbard's chances at zero, with a probability in it somewhere. Would I have been all that bothered if she got out of the primary? No, I wouldn't have been bothered in the least. And if she would have been doing better than what she is, I would have been supportive of her even then, because I thought it was a positive development to have more lefties on that debate stage. I don't think Gravel is insane. Gravel ends up supporting Sanders and Gabbard. Who do you believe? Gravel or Brooks? Who do you believe? The icon Gravel or the work wife Brooks? My point is this. The last thing that was necessary is to come out and do a show like this. And I would argue you shouldn't have did the show in the beginning attacking her. Alienating an aspect of group of people who you are going to need to support your candidate. What you miss, and perhaps you missed this in 2016 also, is when you put a knife in one of your political opponents, especially when it's an opponent that is close to you ideologically, in order to try to climb over. The very act of putting the knife in makes people dislike you. And in disliking you, by extension, disliking your candidate. I'm just saying, all of this was unnecessary. This video was entirely unnecessary. Yes, you could do it. It's your show. I don't begrudge you for doing it. It's your show. I don't even begrudge you so much for supporting Clinton. It's your show. But it's another question on whether it's smart, whether it's politically smart to attack an opponent who is ideologically close to you and who, under normal circumstances, when your candidate or when that candidate leaves the race, which I think she will, you would want those people to move over to your side and to not be antagonistic towards you because of your actions and behavior. I would put to you that happened in 2016, not to the degree where I think Hillary Clinton lost because of it, but it damn sure did not help, nor did it help in a sense of creating a certain degree of antagonism between people who are on the left and the Democratic Party, and the browbeating of, you should vote for our candidate, you should vote for our candidate, you should vote for our candidate, missing the point that if you need to do that, there's something wrong with your candidate. This is politically ineptness, and they don't even know it. They don't even know it. There was literally no harm in supporting Gabbard. There was only positives. And I'm saying the term literally because that is true. Because that's true. I'm not going to belabor this. I saw Sophia's point on this, and she didn't particularly like it. Look, fairness doesn't exist within the context of somebody who's doing a show and expressing a political opinion. There is fairness in the context of them not lying, them not making shit up. That's true, but we all have certain political dispositions. The show is named Us. I take more issue with this notion of it being smart or bright or good choice, especially in the context of helping Sanders. That's not a good choice in helping Sanders at all. The support or the good choice in helping Sanders was ensuring that she was on that debate stage, and there was no negative in supporting her, seeing as her chances of winning were nil. Look, I know people may disagree with me in the sense of her chances of winning, and fair enough, but I've been supportive of Gabbard from day one because I liked her on that debate stage. I wanted her political opinion espoused out, and whether she could win or not was irrelevant to me. I wanted her political opinion on that debate stage espoused out, dealing with the other Democrats who are not having that particular political disposition. Left up to these guys, that wouldn't have happened. Left up to him, Kamala Harris will still be 3 and 4 in the polls. Talk about inept. Talk about inept. Sam Cedar needs to get his work wife. Sam Cedar needs to get his work wife. Jay Vale. Tulsi on stage definitely helps Bernie out. Yes, the more lefties that are on the stage, the better. Especially when you have 20. Talk to me when there's 6 or when there's 5. Yes, then talk to me. But when there's 20 people on stage, 17 of which are neocons, all of which are antagonistic towards Sanders and the Green New Deal and those perspectives, the more lefties on the stage, it's just better. I don't even know why that needs to be said and explained. But apparently, Sheepdog Cedar and his work wife don't know any better. But that said, I thank them for supporting Sanders this time around. Gold star for that one. I'll end it here. I didn't want this video to be long. Look, Sophia has a point. She has a point. But the point is not so much that they can't do the show that they want or that it's any kind of way unfair. It's more so that it's just politically inept. Hit him for the political ineptness. And it doesn't help Sanders, them doing that. In fact, it hurts them because it pisses people off in regards to the direction of Sanders. The same thing that happened to Clinton in 2016. But hey, it's their show. They can do whatever they want. Like, share, subscribe. Thanks all.